The funeral home smelled like roses and lies. My wife Ruth lay in a casket she shouldn't be in. 62 years old, dead from what the doctors called natural causes. Everyone said it was sudden but peaceful. But Lawrence, her boss from the accounting firm, pulled me aside after the service. His face was white as chalk. "Howard," he whispered, "you need to see this." He showed me his phone. Security footage from Ruth's office. My son Derek's face filled the screen. The timestamp read 3 days before Ruth collapsed. Before we continue, please tell us where you're watching from so we know how far our stories reach, and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. Let me take you back 6 weeks. Back when Ruth was still alive. Back when I thought I knew my own family. Ruth and I had been married 41 years. I built furniture in my workshop behind our house in Asheville. She kept the books at Morrison & Associates downtown. We had a good life, simple, honest. We raised one son, Derek. Gave him everything we could, paid for his college, helped him buy his first house. I thought we did right by him. Derek married Veronica 5 years back. Nice girl, we thought. Worked as a real estate agent. Smiled a lot, brought wine to Sunday dinners. But something changed about a year ago. They stopped coming around as much, made excuses. Derek looked tired all the time, thinner. His eyes had this nervous quality to them. Ruth noticed first. "Something's wrong with Derek," she told me one night in bed. "A mother knows." "He's just busy with work," I said. I believed it too. Then Ruth got sick. Started in early September. She'd come home from work exhausted. Complained about headaches, stomach problems. We figured it was stress. Her doctor ran some tests. Nothing showed up. He called it a virus. Said it would pass. It didn't pass. It got worse. Some days Ruth couldn't get out of bed. Other days she seemed fine. The pattern made no sense. Good day, bad day, good day, terrible day. Like a switch flipping inside her body. I started keeping track in a notebook. Carpenter's habit. Measure everything. Write it down. October 3rd was her last good day. We walked to the farmer's market together. She bought apples and fresh bread. Laughed at my jokes. Held my hand. That night she made pot roast. Her grandmother's recipe. I can still smell it. October 4th, she couldn't stand up. Vomiting, sweating, shaking. I called an ambulance. The ER doctors ran every test they had, blood work, scans, everything. They found nothing wrong, kept her overnight for observation. She stabilized. They sent her home the next morning with instructions to follow up with her regular doctor. She died 3 days later. October 7th. I found her in our bedroom at 6 in the morning. She looked peaceful, like she was sleeping, but she wasn't breathing. The paramedics tried everything. It was too late. The medical examiner ruled it natural causes. Heart failure, they said. Sometimes it just happens. No warning, no explanation. Just God calling someone home. I accepted it. What choice did I have? My wife was gone. Derek and Veronica helped plan the funeral, picked out the casket, ordered flowers. They seemed devastated. Derek cried at the viewing, held my hand. Said he couldn't believe Mom was really gone. 200 people came to Ruth's funeral. She touched a lot of lives. Her co-workers from the accounting firm took up 3 whole rows. Lawrence Morrison sat in the front. He'd been Ruth's boss for 18 years. Good man. Fair. Treated his employees like family. The service was beautiful. The pastor talked about Ruth's kindness, her laugh, her love for gardening and old movies. People stood up and shared memories. Derek gave a eulogy. His voice broke halfway through. I thought my heart would crack open right there in that church. But that wasn't even the worst part. After the service at the funeral home, Lawrence found me alone. I was standing by Ruth's casket, just me and her one last time before they closed the lid forever. Lawrence touched my shoulder, made me jump. "Howard, I need to show you something," he said. His hands were shaking. I didn't know if I should, but Ruth would want you to know. He pulled out his phone, opened a video file. "This is from our office security system, from October 1st, 3 days before Ruth collapsed that final time." The video showed Ruth's office, empty at first. Then the door opened. Derek walked in. He looked around, checked over his shoulder, pulled Ruth's desk drawer open, started going through her papers. "Why would Derek be in Ruth's office?" I asked. Lawrence's jaw tightened. "Keep watching." Derek found Ruth's water bottle, the blue metal one she took to work every day. He pulled something from his pocket, a small bottle, clear liquid. He unscrewed Ruth's water bottle, poured the liquid in, shook it, put it back exactly where it had been. The whole thing took 45 seconds. My legs went weak. Lawrence caught my elbow, steadied me. "I only saw this yesterday," Lawrence said. "I was reviewing footage because someone reported office supplies missing. This camera backs up to a cloud server. I went back through the whole month. Howard, there are 4 other videos, different days. Derek coming into Ruth's office when she wasn't there, always doing the same thing, always with that bottle." My mouth went dry. "You're saying?" "I'm saying your wife didn't die of natural causes." Lawrence's voice cracked. "I'm saying someone poisoned her, and the cameras caught who did it." I stared at the frozen image on the phone. My son, my only child, standing in his mother's office, holding that bottle, his face calm, calculated, like he'd done it 100 times before. "Why?" The word barely came out. "Why would Derek?" "I don't know," Lawrence said. "But Howard, listen to me carefully. If Derek poisoned Ruth, and if he knows we know—" He gripped my arm. "You could be next." The room spun. Voices from the other mourners in the next room sounded distant. Underwater. Derek killed Ruth. My son murdered my wife. And I'd spent the last 2 weeks grieving with him, accepting his comfort, believing his tears. I thought about the pattern in my notebook. Ruth's good days and bad days. They matched Derek's visits. Every time Derek came to the house for dinner, Ruth got worse the next day. Every time we saw him at our place on Sunday, she'd be sick by Monday. How long had this been going on? How many times had Derek poisoned his own mother before that final dose? And why? Lawrence took the phone back. "I'm giving this footage to the police tomorrow morning, but I wanted you to see it first. You deserved to know." He paused. "Howard, until the police arrest Derek, you need to be careful. If he poisoned Ruth for her money or her insurance or whatever reason, and you're the other person standing between him and what he wants." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. I looked at Ruth one more time, her hands folded peacefully on her chest, the wedding ring I'd put on her finger 41 years ago still gleaming. She'd died thinking her son loved her, died without knowing the truth. Maybe that was a mercy. Maybe not. Derek appeared in the doorway. "Dad, we're about to close the casket. Do you want a few more minutes?" I looked at my son. Really looked at him. Searched his face for something I'd missed. Some sign of the monster hiding underneath. But all I saw was Derek. My boy. Red eyes from crying. Sad smile. Gentle voice. "Yeah," I managed to say. "A few more minutes." Derek nodded and left. Lawrence squeezed my shoulder once. "Be careful," he whispered. Then he was gone too. I stood there alone with Ruth's body. My hands gripped the edge of the casket so hard my knuckles went white, because I suddenly realized something that made my blood run cold. Ruth had a life insurance policy, $500,000, and I was supposed to be the beneficiary. But 3 months ago, Derek had brought over papers for us to sign. Estate planning documents, he'd called them. Said it would make things easier when we got older. Ruth and I had signed them without reading them carefully. We trusted Derek. He was our son. What if those papers changed the beneficiary? What if Ruth's death made Derek rich? And what if a widowed carpenter living alone was the only thing standing between Derek and that money? I went home that night knowing my son might kill me. The house felt different. Every shadow looked wrong. Every creak in the floorboards made me jump. Ruth's coffee cup still sat by the sink. Her reading glasses on the nightstand. The smell of her lavender soap in the bathroom. She'd been gone 2 weeks, but the house still held her everywhere. Except she wasn't coming back. And the person who made sure of that was my own flesh and blood. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. I sat in my workshop behind the house, the place where I'd built cribs and toy boxes and furniture for 40 years. I kept the lights off, watched the back door of my house through the window, waiting to see if Derek would come, waiting to see if tonight was the night I'd join Ruth. He didn't come, but Veronica did. She showed up at 7 in the morning. I was still in the workshop, still hadn't slept. She knocked on the back door of the main house, called out, "Howard, you home?" I watched her through the window. She had a casserole dish in her hands, wearing yoga pants and a sweatshirt, hair in a ponytail. She looked so normal, so harmless. She tried the door, found it locked, frowned, set the casserole on the back step, pulled out her phone. My phone rang in my pocket. Veronica's name on the screen. I let it ring, watched her leave a voicemail. She stood there another minute, looking around. Then she picked up the casserole and left. I waited until her car disappeared down the street. Then I went to check my voicemail. "Hey Howard, it's Veronica. Just wanted to drop off some food. I know you're probably not eating much. We're worried about you. Derek wanted to stop by later to check on you, maybe around 8 tonight. Call us if you need anything. We love you." 8 tonight. Derek was coming. My hands started shaking. I called Lawrence Morrison. He answered on the first ring. "Did you go to the police yet?" I asked. "I'm heading there in an hour. Howard, where are you? Are you safe?" "I'm home. Derek's planning to visit tonight. Don't let him in," Lawrence said. His voice was sharp, urgent. "Howard, I mean it. Don't be alone with him. Not until the police arrest him." "I need to know why," I said. "I need to understand why my son would do this." Lawrence was quiet for a moment. "The police will figure that out. Your job is to stay alive long enough for them to do it." After I hung up, I sat in my workshop and thought. Really thought. Derek had killed his mother. That was fact. The security footage proved it. But Lawrence was right. I didn't know why. And that why was eating me alive. Money seemed obvious. The life insurance. But Derek had a good job, worked in IT for a hospital, made decent money. Why would he need to kill his mother for an insurance payout? Unless he didn't have a good job anymore. Unless something had changed. I pulled out my laptop, started searching. Facebook first. Derek's profile was private, but I could see his cover photo. Him and Veronica at some beach, posted 4 months ago. Both smiling, both tan, happy. Nothing looked wrong. I tried LinkedIn. Derek's profile said he still worked at the hospital. Systems administrator. Same job he'd had for 6 years. But his last post was from 8 months ago. Before that, he posted all the time. Work updates, industry articles. Suddenly nothing. That felt wrong. I needed more information. needed to understand what was happening in Derek's life. Why he'd thrown away everything. Why he'd murdered his own mother. Then I remembered Ruth's home office. She kept files on everything. Tax returns, bank statements, family documents. She was organized like that. Everything labeled and filed away. I went into the house. Ruth's office was just off the living room. A small space with a desk and filing cabinet. I hadn't been in there since she died. Couldn't bring myself to face it. Her calendar still hung on the wall. October 7th circled in red ink. The day she died. She'd written anniversary dinner with Howard on October 9th, 2 days after. We'd been married 41 years on October 9th. She never made it. I opened the filing cabinet, found the folder marked Derek, personal. Ruth kept files on Derek even though he was grown. Medical records from when he was a kid, his college transcripts, photos, letters. At the bottom of the folder, I found something that made my stomach drop. A letter. Dated 6 months ago. From Derek to Ruth. Mum, I know I already asked, but I'm desperate. Please, we need $50,000. I made some mistakes, bad investments. If I don't pay this money back by the end of the month, we could lose everything. The house, Veronica's business, everything we worked for. I'm begging you, I'll pay you back. I promise. Please don't tell Dad. He'll be so disappointed in me. Please, Mum. I need you. Ruth had written a response on the bottom in her handwriting. Derek, your father and I don't have $50,000 to give you. We're on fixed incomes. I'm sorry, but you need to figure this out yourself. Have you talked to a financial counselor? We can help you find resources, but we can't give you that kind of money. Love, Mum. $50,000. Derek had been desperate for money 6 months ago. Ruth had said no. I kept digging through the files, found more letters, more requests. Derek asking for money again and again. Each time the amount got bigger. 20,000, 30,000, 70,000. Ruth saying no every time. Offering to help in other ways, but not with cash. The last letter was from August, 2 months before Ruth died. Mum, I'm out of options. The people I owe money to aren't patient anymore. They're threatening Veronica. They know where we live, where we work. I need $150,000 or they're going to hurt us. I know you have the life insurance policy. I know it's worth $500,000. Please, you could take out a loan against it. Use it as collateral. Something. I'm your son. You're supposed to help me. If something happens to us, it's on you. Ruth's response was shorter this time. Derek, these sound like loan sharks or criminals. You need to go to the police. Your father and I cannot help you with this. I'm sorry, but you've made your choices. You need to face the consequences. Get help, real help, not money from us. That was the last letter in the file. 2 months later, Ruth was dead. I sat on the floor of her office. The letters spread around me. My son hadn't just killed Ruth for insurance money. He'd killed her because she refused to save him from whatever hole he'd dug himself into. He'd asked and begged and threatened, and when she still said no, he'd poisoned her. But that wasn't even the worst part. If Derek owed someone $150,000 in August, he owed them even more now. With interest, with late fees, with whatever punishment loan sharks add on when you don't pay. Ruth's life insurance was $500,000. If Derek got all of it, he could pay his debts and have money left over. But if I was still alive, the insurance was mine, not his. Those estate planning papers Derek brought over 3 months ago, I needed to find them, needed to see what I'd actually signed. I searched Ruth's files again. Found a folder marked Estate Plannings 2024, pulled out the papers, started reading. My hands went numb. The documents changed everything. Ruth and I had signed over power of attorney to Derek, given him access to our bank accounts in case of emergency, named him executor of our estates, and yes, changed the life insurance beneficiary. If one of us died, the money went to the surviving spouse. But the documents included a clause, a special provision. If the surviving spouse died within 12 months of the first spouse, the insurance money went directly to Derek. 12 months. Ruth had been dead for 2 weeks. Derek just had to wait. Couldn't make it look suspicious. Couldn't kill me right away. Had to let enough time pass that my death would look natural. Like grief. Like an old widower who couldn't go on without his wife. I grabbed my phone, called Lawrence again. "The police need to know about gambling debts," I said. "Derek owes money. A lot of money. That's why he killed Ruth. And Howard, there's something else. Those estate planning papers. The back door creaked open. I froze. The phone still at my ear. Lawrence's voice saying, "Howard, what's wrong? Howard." Footsteps in the kitchen. Slow. Careful. Someone trying to be quiet. I'd locked that door. I'd checked it twice. Someone had unlocked it. Someone had a key. "Howard," Derek's voice called out. "You home? Your car's here." I ended the call, shoved the phone in my pocket. My heart hammered against my ribs. 8 o'clock, Veronica had said. It was only 10 in the morning. Derek wasn't supposed to be here for another 10 hours. He'd come early, on purpose, to catch me off guard. The footsteps moved through the kitchen, into the living room, getting closer to Ruth's office. I looked around. No other exit. Just the one door. The one Derek was walking toward. I was trapped. Derek's shadow appeared in the doorway. I was on the floor, surrounded by papers. His mother's letters. The estate documents. Everything that proved what he'd done and why. His eyes went to the papers, then to me. Something shifted in his face. The mask slipped, just for a second. I saw what was underneath. Nothing. No love, no guilt, no humanity, just cold calculation. My son looked at me, the way a man looks at a problem that needs solving. "Dad," he said softly, "what are you doing in here?" I stood up, slow, kept my hands visible, non-threatening. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but there was nowhere to go. Derek blocked the only exit. "Looking through your mother's things," I said. My voice came out steady, calmer than I felt, trying to feel close to her. Derek stepped into the office, glanced at the letters on the floor. I watched his jaw tighten. He knew what I'd found, knew I'd read his desperate pleas for money, his threats, his manipulation. "Those are private," Derek said. "They were your mother's, now they're mine. You shouldn't be reading old letters. It's not healthy. You need to move forward, Dad. Grief can make people see things that aren't there, make them paranoid." The word paranoid hung in the air between us. A warning, a threat. He was already setting up the narrative. Crazy old man. Grief-stricken widower. Couldn't handle his wife's death. Started imagining conspiracies. If I died today, that's what people would believe. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Derek's eyes flicked to it. "You should answer that. Might be important." I pulled out my phone. Text from Lawrence. "Police are on their way. Stall. Don't be alone with him." I put the phone away. "Just spam," I said. Derek nodded, took another step closer. "Veronica made you breakfast. I brought it over. It's in the kitchen. Why don't we eat together? We can talk about Mom, share memories." Breakfast, food Derek brought, food Derek wanted me to eat. I'm not hungry, I said. You need to eat. You're wasting away. Mom would want you to take care of yourself. Don't invoke her name, I thought. Don't you dare speak about her like you cared. I'll eat later, I said. I'm actually expecting company. Lawrence Morrison. He's coming by soon. It was a lie, but I needed Derek to know I wasn't alone in this, that someone else knew. Someone else was watching. Derek's expression didn't change. Lawrence? Ruth's boss? Why's he coming here? Just to check on me. He's been very kind since the funeral. That's nice of him. Derek's voice was flat, empty. But we're family, Dad. You don't need strangers taking care of you. You have me. The word family felt like a knife. This man who murdered his mother, who was planning to murder his father, standing in front of me talking about family like it meant something. I needed to get out of this room, away from Derek, somewhere public, somewhere safe, just long enough for the police to arrive. You're right, I said. Let me wash up. Then we can have that breakfast together. I moved toward the door. Derek didn't step aside. We were inches apart. I could smell his cologne. The same brand I'd bought him for Christmas 3 years ago. Everything about him was so familiar, so normal. But underneath he was a stranger, a killer. After you, Derek said, finally moving aside. I walked past him, every muscle tense, expecting him to grab me, to do something. But he just followed me into the kitchen. The casserole dish sat on the counter, still warm. Veronica's breakfast casserole. Eggs and cheese and sausage. Enough for 4 people. I stared at it, wondered what Derek had put in it, what poison he'd chosen this time. Smells good, I said, playing along, buying time. Derek opened the cupboard, pulled out 2 plates, started serving the casserole. Big portions, steam rising off the eggs. My phone buzzed again. Derek watched me check it. Another text from Lawrence. 2 minutes. You're popular this morning, Derek said. Book club, I lied. They're checking on me. Derek set a plate in front of me, fork and napkin. Everything perfect, everything normal, except for the fact that this breakfast might kill me. Eat up, Dad. I picked up my fork, pushed the eggs around. Derek sat across from me, watching, not eating his own plate, just watching mine. That's when I understood. He wasn't going to eat it. This whole setup was a test, to see if I suspected, to see if I knew. If I ate, I died. If I refused, he'd know I knew. And then what? Would he force me? Make it look like a heart attack, a fall down the stairs, an old man's accident? I needed those 2 minutes, needed the police to get here, needed to stall. Actually, I said, I should tell you something first. Before we eat, something important. Derek's eyes narrowed. What? Your mother. Before she died. She changed her will. It was another lie. But I needed to shake him, needed to crack that calm facade. What are you talking about? Derek asked. She added a codicil, a change. She left everything to charity, the life insurance, the house, all of it. Said she wanted to leave a legacy, help people who needed it more than we did. Derek's face went white. That's not true. It is. I found the papers yesterday. Her lawyer has the original. Everything goes to the American Heart Association. Ironic, isn't it? Given how she died. I watched Derek process this, watched him realize that if what I said was true, he'd murdered his mother for nothing. No insurance money, no inheritance. Just a dead mother and gambling debts he couldn't pay. You're lying, Derek said, but his voice shook. Why would I lie about that? He stopped, caught himself, Because finishing that sentence meant admitting he cared about the money, meant revealing his motive. The front door burst open. Lawrence Morrison rushed in, but he wasn't alone. 2 police officers followed him. 1 man, 1 woman, both in uniform. Derek jumped up from his chair. "What's going on?" The female officer stepped forward. "Derek Paulson, we need you to come down to the station. We have some questions about your mother's death." "Questions? What kind of questions?" "She died of natural causes. The medical examiner said, 'We have security footage from your mother's workplace,'" the male officer interrupted. "Footage showing you entering her office multiple times, tampering with her personal belongings." Derek's face transformed. The mask shattered completely. I saw rage, panic, desperation, all of it flickering across his features like a strobe light. "That's not what it looks like," Derek said. "I was just... Mom asked me to. She needed help with... Save it for the station," the female officer said. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." But Derek didn't turn around. He looked at me instead. Really looked at me. And I saw it finally. The moment he understood that I knew. That I'd always known. That this whole breakfast was a trap, and he'd walked right into it. "You called them," Derek said, his voice hollow. "Your own son. You turned me in. You killed your mother," I said. "What did you expect me to do?" Derek lunged at me. The officers grabbed him, slammed him against the wall. The casserole dish fell, shattered on the floor, eggs and cheese and broken ceramic everywhere. They cuffed Derek, read him his rights. The whole time he screamed at me, called me a traitor, said I never loved him, said I always chose Mom over him, said this was all my fault for not helping when he needed it. I stood there and listened. Let him scream, let him blame me, because nothing he said would bring Ruth back. Nothing would undo what he'd done. They dragged Derek out the front door. Veronica's car pulled up just as they were putting him in the police cruiser. She jumped out, started crying, started yelling. The female officer had to physically restrain her. Lawrence put his hand on my shoulder. "You okay?" I nodded, couldn't speak, couldn't trust my voice. "The medical examiner is reopening Ruth's case," Lawrence said. "They're going to do a full toxicology screen, test for poisons. With the security footage and Derek's financial records, they have enough for murder charges." His financial records. The police pulled them this morning. Derek lost everything gambling, online poker, sports betting, got in deep with some bad people, owed over $300,000. The loan sharks were threatening to kill him and Veronica if he didn't pay by November 1st. 3 weeks away. Derek had 3 weeks to get the money or die. So he'd killed his mother, planned to kill his father, all to pay off gambling debts. The police car drove away, Derek's face in the back window, staring at me. Even from a distance I could see the hate in his eyes. Veronica collapsed on the front lawn, sobbing, screaming that this was a mistake. That Derek would never hurt anyone, that we were all wrong. I went back inside, closed the door, locked it. The house was quiet again, empty, except for me and Ruth's ghost. I walked to our bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed. Ruth's side, the side she'd slept on for 41 years. Her pillow still smelled like her shampoo. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Mr. Paulson?" A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. "This is Detective Chen from the medical examiner's office. I'm calling about your wife's case." "Yes?" "We rushed the toxicology results given the circumstances. Mr. Paulson, your wife was poisoned with antifreeze, ethylene glycol. Small doses over approximately 6 weeks. The symptoms match. The timeline matches. We're ruling this a homicide." Homicide. The word made it real. Official. Ruth hadn't died peacefully. She'd died slowly, painfully, poisoned by her own son over 6 weeks, 42 days of suffering. "There's something else," Detective Chen said. "We found the same poison in the blood samples we took from you during your annual physical last month." The room tilted. "What?" "Small amounts. Not enough to kill you yet, but enough to make you sick. Mr. Paulson, you've been poisoned too. You need to get to a hospital immediately. We need to start chelation therapy. It's treatable if we catch it early enough." I looked down at my hands. They'd been shaking for weeks. I'd blamed it on grief, on stress, on age. But it wasn't any of those things. Derek had been poisoning me too, slowly, carefully, preparing for the day when my death would look natural. "Mr. Paulson? Are you still there?" "I'm here," I said. "Get to the emergency room. Now. I'm sending an ambulance." I hung up, sat there on Ruth's side of the bed. Poison in my blood. My son's gift. The son I'd raised, the son I'd loved, the son who'd looked me in the eye this morning and tried to feed me a casserole that would have finished the job. The ambulance came 20 minutes later. They rushed me to the hospital, started treatment, pumped me full of medicines with names I couldn't pronounce. The doctors said I was lucky. Another few weeks and the damage would have been permanent. Kidney failure, neurological damage, death. Derek had almost succeeded. Almost. They kept me in the hospital for 3 days. The police came to take my statement, told me Derek confessed to everything. The poisoning, the life insurance plan, the gambling debts. But he didn't show remorse, didn't apologize, just kept saying he had no choice, that Mom and I should have helped him when he asked. Veronica was arrested too, accessory after the fact. She'd known about the gambling debts, helped Derek plan the life insurance scheme, brought over casseroles and lasagnas laced with poison while smiling and pretending to care. The trial took 8 months. I sat through every day of it, listened to every piece of evidence, watched Derek try to play the victim, the desperate son, the misunderstood child. The jury didn't buy it. Found him guilty on all counts. First-degree murder for Ruth. Attempted murder for me. The judge gave him life in prison without possibility of parole. Veronica got 15 years. I should have felt vindicated. Relieved. Ruth got justice. Derek was punished. I survived. But sitting in that courtroom watching my son get sentenced to die in prison, all I felt was hollow. Empty. Because justice didn't bring Ruth back. Didn't erase the betrayal. Didn't fix what was broken. I sold the house 6 months after the trial. Couldn't live there anymore. Too many ghosts. Too many memories. Moved to a small apartment across town. Started over. Ruth's life insurance money finally came through. $500,000. I donated all of it to the American Heart Association. The lie I'd told Derek that morning in the kitchen became truth. Ruth would have liked that. She always said money corrupted people, made them do terrible things. She was right. I'm 73 now, 11 years older than I was when Ruth died. I still build furniture in a small workshop. Still wake up sometimes reaching for her. Still expect to smell her coffee brewing in the morning. Derek writes me letters from prison. 1 every month. Same thing every time. Apologizing, begging for forgiveness, asking me to visit. Saying he's changed, that he's sorry, that prison has made him understand what he did wrong. I never write back, never visit. Because some betrayals can't be forgiven. Some wounds never heal. Derek killed his mother, tried to kill his father, and he did it for money he didn't even get. That's the cruelest irony. He destroyed our family for nothing, lost everything, gained nothing, sits in a cell for the rest of his life with Nothing but regret and the ghosts of what he destroyed. Sometimes I wonder if he really is sorry. If prison changed him. If somewhere inside that stranger is the little boy I used to know. The one who held my hand crossing streets, who called me his hero, who I thought I'd raised right. But then I remember Ruth, remember her suffering, remember that breakfast casserole Derek served me, knowing it would kill me. Remember the hate in his eyes when the police took him away. And I know the truth. That little boy died a long time ago. Maybe he never existed at all. Maybe I just saw what I wanted to see. A loving son, a good man, a person worth saving. Derek made his choices. Now he lives with them, and I live with mine. Every night before bed, I talk to Ruth. Tell her about my day, ask her opinion on things, apologize for not protecting her, for not seeing what was happening until it was too late. I like to think she hears me, that somewhere she knows Derek was punished, that justice was served, that I survived. But mostly I tell her I'm sorry. Sorry our son turned into a monster. Sorry our family ended like this. Sorry she died alone and afraid, not knowing why her own child wanted her dead. The grief never goes away. Neither does the betrayal. You just learn to carry it, like a carpenter carries his tools, heavy, necessary, part of who you are now. That's the real ending to this story. Not triumph, not closure. Just an old man living alone with his memories and his mistake curse and the ghost of a woman who deserved so much better than what she got. That's what happens when family betrays family. When love turns to poison. When money matters more than blood. You survive, but you never really live again. Thank you for staying until the end. Please help us reach our goal by subscribing to the channel. What did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments.